Welcome into another edition of The Meltdown here live with you as we discuss today director Quentin Tarantino shooting down his latest film project, headed back to the drawing board seemingly in an effort to go out with a much bigger bang after promising to make his 10th project his last one. We will discuss if Henry Cavill's new Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare movie delivers for action junkies, and could the former Man of Steel still possibly end up back in the running to land the role of 007? As we learned from yesterday's controversial outcome to Meltdown Triple Threat Trivia, we have some internal drama to address. We will air all of our dirty laundry today, and as Triple Threat Trivia Commissioner, we will openly discuss the future of our weekly competition as some new plans are set to be put into place. And John Lunsford is about to pack his bags and head further south. Luntz's list highlights some of the best Walt Disney World food that you can get your hands on. This is The Meltdown, presented by MyBookie, broadcasting live from the Culver studio.
Two big balls in a tiny studio, teaching you and me about everything they know to make sound. A meltdown. It's the meltdown. Time for the meltdown. Coming for the meltdown. Let's start the show.
You have now entered the world of Meltdonia. If you're new here, welcome. We are so happy that you have made us a part of your day. We'd love to be a part of your day every single day, and all you have to do is subscribe, hit that notification bell, and we will appear right there in your algorithm, ready to entertain. I am Tim Melton, host of The Meltdown. My co-host, that is Mr. John Lunsford. John, as you're looking around, I'm right over here. There we are.
Hello.
Welcome. You've got a trip
I do.
planned that you are going on, later today?
I'm leaving as soon as you can end the show so I can get out to Disney World.
In that case, have a wonderful day, everybody. We will see you again. No.
That sounded mean.
It did. Are you in a
Yes.
rush? You're not in a rush, though. I mean, you're here to have a good time.
As long as I get there in time for my wife to run a race on Saturday morning, then I'm good.
Okay, we will make that happen. I know that there's something else you're looking forward to as Taylor Swift is set to release her new album, and you're a giant Swiftie.
Yes, that is right. She is releasing it at midnight tonight Eastern, so we'll probably get a couple of hours of the drive. We'll be able to finish the drive and keep us awake listening to the Torture Poets Department.
I'm not sold on the name, but I don't think Taylor Swift cares. But
I mean, you definitely tell she's getting away from her one-word eras and kind of moving on. There's obviously meaning behind the name. Yeah. This album is all about Joe Alwyn and the lack of marriage and long-term relationship that existed there. But yeah, so we'll see. I have heard everything about a pop-up that's been at the Grove this week. Out in LA, right, which is where I went to go see most of the movies I saw out when I was out there for the Rose Bowl. It is very intense and intuitive and very much pointing to everything about poor Joe Alwyn is going to get roasted when this album fully comes out. The same way Jake Gyllenhaal did when that All Too Well 10-minute version came out. Joe Alwyn's about to be dead in the water.
Will you be able to give us some sort of review tomorrow of what you hear in the album? We'd love to hear that. Yeah. On the live show, because even though you're traveling, you're still going to be a part of the live show tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll try to do this on the road for the first time. And
you laughing through that does not make me more confident that it's going to be successful.
Well, the thing is, I was like, hey, Tyler, let me show you exactly what to do. And as I showed him, well, that didn't work. Okay, hold on, that didn't work. Well, hold on, that didn't work. We finally figured it out to where something kind of sort of worked, but we'll figure it out.
Speaking of things that test us, yesterday's Meltdown Triple Threat Trivia was a competition that kind of tested relationships around here. Tyler, how are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic.
Poor Tyler.
I just been getting tired of sitting around watching these guys not even use me for answers, leaving points on the board. Yeah. You're oppressing me at this point, trying to keep me out of it.
Can I just say one thing, Tyler?
Yeah, go for it.
I used you on a question.
You were. You did.
That was... how many pounds are in a ton one time? So,
yeah, and then old Timmy Trebek decides to reuse it next week.
It was a simple mistake that will be corrected. I take responsibility for that aspect of the game falling apart. And
you should.
I certainly do.
Tell him, Tyler.
Tyler, you are now going to be known as the once lovable boy known as Tyler. That is what your new title is going to be, because every time I feel like I go on an apology tour, you hit me with another switchblade to the torso, which is where the small intestine is located. I did my research.
Almost wanted the one Tyler missed over and over again.
No, I will deliver later on in the show if we can somehow get through it together. Once again, as a loving family, I will deliver a Meltdown Triple Threat Trivia press conference coming up later in the show. So if you have some questions, you can save them for that moment. Later in the show in the chat, we'll answer those. Also being a part of that press conference is the one, the only, E.G., who's with us. E.G., welcome back. I know you keep questioning why you're here and why we're all angry with one another.
No, I am. What did I say yesterday? I'm only here so I don't get fined. Or no, excuse me. Spud said I'm only here so I don't get fined.
Literally everyone says that but you, and you said that you said it. And I don't know. You're the one person I've not heard that from.
Yeah, I've not ever said that.
I've said those words a lot within these walls, but yeah.
Speaking of press conferences, there's one that stood out to you from yesterday.
There is.
Right?
I'm glad that we're bringing this up.
Yes, you are now a press conference veteran.
I am.
Being on the other end of the podium.
Yes.
And you believe there's some level of decorum that should be followed in press conferences, like, I don't know, kicking over drinks before people end up approaching the stage.
Of course.
But there's some other things that have rubbed you the wrong way when it comes to how Caitlin Clark kind of got some attention.
Yes. So, exactly.
That's what happened.
Exactly. So, yesterday at a press conference, Caitlin Clark made her debut in Indy, and there was a reporter who, from what I've gathered, is not the most loved person in Indianapolis. Or the state of, or regionally, and he asked a rather just uncomfortable question. It wasn't even a question. That's what was interesting to me.
Felt like more of a demand.
It was more of a demand, and then he tried to compensate by writing an article as an apology for clicks, and basically the premise of it was, oh, I'm so sorry, I'm awkward. That's just who I am. And, oh, sorry that I talk to athletes like humans. And I'm like, no, that's not talking to an athlete as a human. You're trying to add a personal element in a really creepy and uncomfortable way.
So what you're saying is my apology for bombing Meltdown Triple Threat Trivia yesterday was more effective than the apology that we saw here out of the Indy Star. Do we know this guy? What was the guy's name again?
Greg Doyle.
Greg Doyle.
And as Barstool points out that he spells both names wrong. It's G-R-E-G-G, and Doyle is spelled
Doyle. It's
Doyle.
like D-O-Y-E-L instead of D-O-Y-L-E.
So it's gained a lot of traction. And people have unearthed some tweets from the early 2010s that are not going to paint him in a very good light. And there's also been other incidences of him just being very uncomfortable and awkward. Yeah. And I don't think that you can just be like, oh, haha, that's just me. Very long.
You obviously take this very serious because it's the profession that you've chosen to dedicate your life to. And this is something that means a lot to you, that things are handled the right way.
Right.
I assume it also, I don't know how to necessarily get into this conversation, but the fact that it is a female athlete that is being talked to in this way has to be something that also gives you a little extra motivation to come on and talk about this subject.
Absolutely, because I feel like in those rooms, you have to be on your P's and Q's at all times, and you have to show a level of respect, whether it's Coach Saban or it's a second string wide receiver that had a standout game. It's the same level of decorum, and especially with female athletes, I think that, and Caitlin Clark, there's no time to be cute. Like, you get to the point, because if someone else did something along those lines that maybe wasn't as established, granted, I think he's getting what he needs in terms of pushback, but that's just so unprofessional and a horrible example of young professionals that want to go into the industry. And your first question to Caitlin Clark is about yourself and how you can benefit from it is very messed up. And then putting her in that position to have to even speak to you afterwards is just beyond me.
I agree, and I'm sure Tyler does as well, that young professionals should show nothing but respect. Tyler, you agree with that after yesterday?
Oh, of course. Got to give it to get it, though.
Yesterday, Tyler and I kind of wanted to knock each other's teeth out. If you have had your teeth knocked out, I recommend that you put away that pain by visiting my friends, a dentist that you feel like you can trust, and one that'll make you happy to actually go to the dentist. That is the team on Grants Mill Road, Alabama Dental Associates, led by Dr. Jeff and Dr. Brian, they allow you to feel at ease about your trips to the dentist, have all the latest advancements in dental healthcare technology, so you know you're receiving the most advanced treatments possible. It's the friendliness of the entire staff, though, that makes it that much more special of an experience to visit their practice. If you're ready to find that perfect dental team, maybe you're new to the area and you haven't found that dentist that you can turn to and trust, this is the team that I recommend. Alabama Dental Associates. You can call them at 205-956-8977 or visit them online at alabamadental.com as they look forward to seeing you. We had a couple of trailers that dropped today, including one for Transformers 1. Our full reaction up on the channel right now. It just dropped. It is in theaters on September 20th. This is an animated film. You'll have to go and see what our reaction is to see if we're fully on board with this or if it's a hard pass. But John, I will say that it seems very trendy right now to make animated films based on properties that have grossed billions of dollars.
Yeah, because ultimately it's cheaper to do that. I mean, you can definitely go overboard with animated movies like we've seen with the Spider-Verse movies, but I think the Spider-Verse films, and I'll say just most of the first one, not necessarily the second one, but that has led to a new wave of how we do animation as well, to where it's not just the same old Pixar, DreamWorks style, and I feel like Transformers 1 is kind of doing that as well. So, it'll be interesting to see how animation evolves, because we kind of went from the drawn side of things to then when Pixar really started with like Toy Story and all that to then everything's computer animated, kind of seeing what that next level is with these animated films.
Tyler, was Transformers ever something you fell in love with at the Cineplex or with your toy collection? Was Transformers ever a phase you went through? Or maybe, who knows, maybe you're a huge Transformers fan right now.
I wouldn't say it was ever one of the big phases I went through, but I was definitely into it, especially around 2007 to 2009 with the first and second live action movies with Shia LaBeouf. But other than that, I've never been that much of a Transformers guy. Just a couple toys here and there as a kid.
I walked out of the Shia LaBeouf, Megan Fox movie and really was underwhelmed. Everybody else was losing their mind over it. I didn't think it was that great and didn't check out any other Transformers movies really hardly after that in the theater. Saw some on home release or cable or whatever. E.g., I assume Transformers never been your cup of tea.
No, my brothers loved it, but I never got into it.
This may be a movie, though, the second one that dropped a trailer today, that you may be interested in.
Okay, let's hear it.
It's called Trap. It's
Okay.
about a father who brings his daughter to a Taylor Swift-style concert.
Where is this going?
What did I mess up on?
Nothing. It's just,
No, it's accurate so far. Keep going.
so far, yeah.
Yeah. It's a father who brings his daughter to a Taylor Swift-type concert, and, she's like 12, 13. He brings her. He's the cool dad. They're taking selfies. They're having a good time. He says, you know what? I need to take a bathroom break.
She gets kidnapped, gets trapped at the concert.
Well, see, that's what you would think. But no, this thing's twisty as all get out. Are you ready? The dad ends up going outside to the concourse area and starts to see the police are starting to barricade up this venue at this concert. And it looks like any venue in which you would normally see a concert like this taking place. And he starts to ask some questions. He's asking a guy at the merch table, like, hey, what's going on here? And they're like, oh, they're shutting this place down because this high-profile serial killer that they've been tracking for years.
Oh, heck no.
Is within.
Absolutely not.
No. But
The minute you start with, you're going to love this.
You're going to love this one.
What?
I think this is going to be an introduction into scary movies, intense movies that you're going to love.
No.
And we're looking for this guy. He's called the Butcher, and they've.
This is so awesome.
I was waiting for you to get to the name.
Is this why you guys thought it was funny? Because I think I can convince E.G. by August to go see this movie.
You could not.
If it's PG-13.
No, because I had the dream last night. I told you about this morning. I had a dream last night that my car got stolen, and it's a whole long story. And me waking up abruptly freaked me out. Like, the dream wasn't scary. Just waking up from the dream scared me.
There's been some weird dreams around here. E.G. had that dream, and Brown brought up yesterday he had a dream somebody died up here. So what's happening?
I want to talk to you about a nightmare I experienced. No, it was not triple threat trivia from yesterday. You stepped all over my punchline, but it's fine. No,
Did I butcher it?
that was actually very well done.
Thank you.
You are going to go see the movie, I can tell. So a couple of weeks ago, we had our garbage can stolen outside my house, right? And I mean, the local crime is just surging, and my garbage can got stolen. It's not funny, E.G. It's very traumatizing. And
You found it this morning.
I did. That's painful, Tyler. You're just hitting me with all kinds of jabs here. We should start calling you Tyler the Butcher. Anyway, we finally got a replacement can after haggling back and forth because it's been a tough process. Long story short, too late. The garbage can was not supposed to be out there today, but it was, and I backed into it on the way into work and busted out my taillight on my brand new truck. And it broke my heart. That was a very Dunaway sound, audible sound right there.
It was.
That was very.
Can we get a video of it and put like?
I've got surveillance video of it, but I don't want to show it on the show yet. At least, maybe at some point I will show you. But John, I'll show you off the air, and you tell me whether or not it's suitable. But it's been a very sad day for me because I love my truck. I waited nearly 2 years to get this truck because I ordered it, and they said, "Oh, we got a little bit of a shipping issue," and now. I had a shipping issue with my garbage can. Finally get my garbage can meets truck. Boom, taillight busted out. So that breaks my heart. Anyway, that's what's going on in my personal life. Let's talk about what Deadline confirmed, and that is that Quentin Tarantino is no longer planning to make the once-planned film The Movie Critic, which he had earlier said would be his final work as a director. It was confirmed late yesterday that the director had given the project a thumbs down to his being the potential 10th and final feature film. For those that don't know, Quentin Tarantino has been adamant for years and years and years. He's going to make 10 films and then he's going to retire. He's put the number at 10 and then he's going to retire. Now, whether or not you believe that, because we all know Tarantino is an absolute film junkie.
But I feel like he's also said like Star Trek wouldn't count against that if he ever did something like that.
Maybe. You may be right, but...
Maybe crazy.
But he's basically turned down the Star Trek film. It didn't work out.
Never say never.
There were talks about him doing an R-rated Star Trek film, but he decided against that in 2019, saying it was too big a project, saying, quote, "Look, I might come up with something, a really big idea, but right now the idea of a smaller audience almost all the way around is appealing to me." And I don't know if we'll get him back into Star Trek, especially since Star Trek properties are moving forward. Yes, EG.
Can you explain this in a sports format? Why is it 10? Is it like I'm going to coach a final season and win a natty and retire? Or is it...
I'll give you a sports analogy. Michael Jordan basically said, "I'm done playing basketball and I'm going to go play baseball in Birmingham, Alabama." And so he made up his mind that that's what he was going to do. And everybody said, how does the best basketball player in the world decide to go do something different?
Gambling.
Well, that
was
happened with
that's a whole
MJ.
different story, yeah.
That's not the Tarantino story.
That's a whole
though.
different story.
John, tell the good people about our title sponsor. That's MyBookie. No, MyBookie.ag. Anyway,
Promo code next round.
Wait.
Promo code next round.
Okay, sorry, continue. I'm not going to ask questions still.
I'm done with my analogy, but Tarantino looks like he's going to leave the director's chair because he's committed to he's only going to be a prime director for so long, and he wants to finish his filmography with 10 films that he can put his stamp of approval on. He cares more about quality than quantity, and he has decided that that is going to be his legacy.
What is his number at right now?
9.
9.
So he has one more and then he's done.
Which is why he's gotten rid of this film, which was going to star Brad Pitt, and it was going to be about the porno industry.
Yeah, I think it's called The Movie Critic. I think he's going to drive himself crazy trying to create the perfect movie
Interesting.
that we may never get it.
He's trying to make his own megalocalypse, I think.
And how old is he?
Megapolis.
I knew what you meant.
I stumbled through that one.
I don't know exactly how old he is. He is 61.
Oh, so he's got time.
Just turned 61. He has time. I just think he's going to take long enough that he'll be 71 by the time he says, okay, this is it. And then it may be too late at that point. I don't know. Or depending on who he wants in it, because obviously he just did a movie that Brad Pitt won an Oscar for, so I understand why he wanted him to be the main person in it. You could bring Leonardo DiCaprio back. You could bring a lot of people back. But
he's going to try and build this up, basically make it a perfect film, but every time he's gotten close, he keeps scrapping it because it's not perfect enough.
Seems like with this one that he did it, he rewrote it, which delayed it to where it was then like, this isn't it.
At one point, he was very excited about this being his 10th and final picture. He talked briefly about The Movie Critic before an audience at the Cannes Film Festival last year, saying, quote, "I can't tell you guys anything until you see the movie. I'm tempted to do some of the characters' monologues right now, but I'm not going to. Maybe if there were less video cameras, you just have to wait and see."
And we never got to wait and see.
We never got to wait and see. This movie's going to be shelved. However, I do wonder, could we have a Tarantino loophole where he makes his 10th and final film and then goes, well, The Movie Critic was a film that I had done before that 10th film. I had written it, and so now I can make it because it's really a part of the... No, I don't think anyone truly believes Tarantino's going to walk away and stay away.
See, that's the thing about Star Trek is I'm doing 10 of my own movies. That like Star Trek is already a thing. So him doing a movie, it's not like he's creating Star Trek. So that's why there's something out there, I feel like, that even if he does do a 10th movie, hey, could you be called back for the perfect script for X franchise or
He's
whatever,
like, yeah, I'm
or
in.
X reboot or something like that? Yeah, sure, I'm in.
So his effort will just decrease into his own projects, but he'll still take on other projects.
Only if it's perfect. Like Star Trek seemed to be a thing for a while that like everybody said that's it, that's the perfect fit for him.
Okay.
But because it was going to make a rated R version of it, it's going to be totally different than everything we had seen. It's got to be something like that. But I imagine if he finally does his 10th movie, he'll slink into the background of like, I'm still here. I'm still a figurehead in Hollywood.
Making
but
money.
I'm making money consulting people on other things and all that.
E.G., here's what I want you to know.
Okay.
You're asking really good questions.
Thank you.
But the truth is, none of us know the answers because none of us know this plan that he's come up with and these parameters he's set for himself for whatever reason. The demand is there.
Yeah.
His movies generally make money. And if they don't make money the first time, he sells them to Netflix, cuts them up in an 8-part series, and they make money the second time. The Hateful Eight.
So in different interviews I've seen with Tarantino, he's mentioned the reason he wants to stop at 10 is because he believes that when filmmakers start to get later into their career, 20 years down the line, they can't relate with what the modern audience wants anymore. And he doesn't want to be the old, out-of-touch guy.
I don't know how to tell him. He's late in his career. Like, no matter what he does, he's late in his career now.
Oh, he 100% is.
Matt says in the chat, why is he limiting himself to 10 films? Makes no sense. If Scorsese would have quit at 10, we would have never gotten Goodfellas and everything after. I don't know if he's going to stick to this, but the fact that he's dropping this movie means that he's doubling down on the marketing pitch that this will be his 10th and final film, which will be, I think, the marketing campaign behind this movie.
Oh, yeah.
Come see the last Tarantino movie in a theater. This is your last chance to watch a new Tarantino movie.
Until 5 years later, he comes out with another one.
That's E.G. You're kind of like Daniel Day-Lewis is how I would use this. And I know it's not a sports analogy, but Daniel Day-Lewis decided I'm retiring from acting, even though I'm looked at by most everyone as the best current actor living, maybe the best actor of all time, but the best current actor living. Daniel Day-Lewis was right up there in the discussion probably for a lot of people. And he decided I'm going to retire and walk away. And every few years, there's an article about, is he coming back? No, he's not. He hates the projects that are sent his way. I think he takes glances, but he's fully retired and he's sticking to that lifestyle. Maybe he's just method acting as a retired person. Maybe he's going to play Spud for his next movie. Who knows? There's a chance. Daniel Day-Lewis is Spud.
Yeah.
Our current Meltdown Triple Threat Trivia champion, by the way. Press conference coming up later on in the show today. It's going to be
no comment.
A blockbuster for sure. Let's see here.
People are talking about him forcing it because he's talking about, I got to end, because I just pulled up his filmography. Kill Bill technically counts as one, even though it's two movies. But like it says, he literally said, most directors have horrible last movies. Ending on a decent movie is rare. I think that's the perfect reason for him to stop right now. Because Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was generally received fairly well. And so say, I ended it there. I ended it on a movie that was a love letter to Hollywood and just called it a day.
See, from what I had heard, Brad Pitt was going to be in this new movie, and he was going to potentially be playing...
He's going to return as Cliff.
Yeah.
Cliff Booth in this film, which I think would have been a giant mistake to make this for his 10th film.
Oh, yeah.
I think he's making the right decision of going back to the drawing board to try to perfect something. But it was going to be set in 1977 about a small-time movie critic who wrote a smart reviews for a porn magazine. And Pitt was going to be coming back in as Cliff Booth, who in Tarantino's novelization confirmed was a big movie buff. So there you have it. Henry Cavill making headlines for a bunch of different reasons. Cavill's next role is Gus March Phillips in Guy Ritchie's The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. Maybe my least favorite movie title of the year, because I hate having to say it. It releases today in early previews. However, our very own, the former lovable boy known as Tyler, went to go see this film during a screen unseen that actually showed a big movie for the first time. You weren't stuck seeing Sting. You were able to see this. I'm sure you were excited to get a chance to see this movie. Did it live up to your expectations? Because your review is going to make up a lot of people's decisions of whether or not this is something they need to put in their queue at some point.
So I went in with not really any expectations, just over-the-top action movie about World War II. You get that, it delivers on that. It is over-the-top. It's a heavily fictionalized version of Operation Postmaster, which is where the British Special Forces send some incarcerated prisoners in order to liberate an Italian cargo ship that's currently been commandeered by the Nazis.
AKA Suicide Squad in World War II.
Yes, I in my out of the theater review, I called it Inglorious Bastards mixed with Suicide Squad. Is
it
What
funny?
it sounds like.
Oh yeah, it's funny. It's a lot of fun. It's got a lot of good one-liners, good action sequences.
That is my kind of movie.
Is it violent? Very overly violent?
Very, very violent.
EG, how could you support such a thing and not support Trap?
Because that violence is much different. It's like action-y.
You and Lunsford with
about
your
to say,
whole...
you know what that sounds like.
That's such a John answer. You guys make no
It's
sense.
it's
You're
not
like
serial
Tarantino.
killer.
You come up with these random rules that nobody
No.
forces you to live by, and you decide that you're going to go that route. Anyway.
Okay, can I give you my framework for a good movie?
I mean, if you want to interrupt Tyler, he's already on
No,
edge, and you're going to
because-
put him over the top.
No,
here.
Tyler, your review is inspiring me, so thank you. 6 Underground, did you guys see that one on Netflix? Ryan
I know what it
Reynolds.
is, but I have not
One
seen
of
it.
the 20,000 movies that Netflix releases and doesn't market. No, I didn't see it.
Super actiony, little bit of humor in it. I love movies like that. So when we were going to see, what was that movie that we saw that was so
Argyle.
bad?
Argyle.
Argyle. This preview
Another Henry Cavill movie.
came out, and immediately I was like, it looks funny. I love some historical fiction. World War II intrigues me. Great Netflix documentary right now. It's going to merge all my interests into one, and I'm thrilled to go see it.
Okay.
But I will not go see the Butcher movie
I'm glad you're excited about
or
that.
Maxine or anything scary.
Tyler, I'm so sorry your review got upended by EG. Would you like to continue it?
I
Please,
would
Tyler.
love to. I would love to.
I'm so excited.
The main stars of this movie are Henry Cavill and Alan Richardson. Everybody knows Henry Cavill as The Witcher and Superman, and Alan Richardson has recently made a name for himself as the Jack Reacher in Amazon's TV show. I remember him more so as Thad Castle from Blue Mountain State, but
Sure.
Is
you
this
might
the guy
also
that's been rumored to play Batman in upcoming James Gunn
he said he
universe?
wants to play Batman. He's been very vocal about that
He
recently.
played Aquaman on
What's his name?
Smallville.
Alan Richardson. He played Aquaman on Smallville. He played Hawkman in the Titans on HBO.
You just keep
He's
going with
gotten
DC.
everything but Batman so far. But lots of fun, over-the-top action. It's also based on the person who was the inspiration for James Bond. Captain Gus March Phillips inspired Ian Fleming to write James Bond. Ian Fleming actually makes an appearance in the movie as a British naval intelligence officer, and that's the one thing I don't like about the movie, because I don't really get a James Bond vibe from Henry Cavill's character.
Okay.
He's very brash, very over the top.
Surprise, he's playing James Bond.
Well, maybe. Look, there is a fake movie trailer out, which if there's one thing that unites me and Tyler is the fact that we hate fake movie trailers.
Despise them.
Guys, at midnight last night, I'm not kidding, it was like 12:03. I get an email from Spud with a link to a trailer, because we got him to watch his very first YouTube movie trailer. I don't know how he's avoided movie trailers this long in his life, but he has. And now he's gone down the rabbit hole of getting on YouTube to see movie trailers. He sent me a movie trailer that was published. It's a fake movie trailer from 2 years ago
Oh no.
that mixes Queen's Gambit and Pawn Sacrifice with Tobey Maguire and Queen's Gambit on Netflix. And it blends the two as if Beth Harmon is going to end up facing Bobby Fischer on a chess table. And
To be fair, I'd watched it if they actually did it.
and Spud told me, this one I'm all in for. And I'm like, first of all, it was published 2 years ago. Secondly, it's clearly pulled from these other two properties. And third, Spud, thank you for thinking of me. That's really what I felt in my heart, especially after what happened during Meltdown Triple Threat Trivia, the episode we never talk about. But there's a fake
Except
movie
for
trailer.
today.
Except for today. Today will
Mentioned
be
it
the
a
final.
bunch.
Tyler, how about this? How about you don't tell me how to do my job and I won't tell you how to do yours, okay? Does that sound good?
Oh, sure.
Oh, Pittsburgh.
Thank you for cutting the tension. There's a fake movie trailer out with Henry Cavill as 007 that has gone viral with over 2.5 million views. Cavill obviously has history with this role as 007, dating back to Casino Royale when he auditioned for the role, but lost to Daniel Craig. Casino Royale director Martin Campbell recently revealed in an interview with Express UK that he greatly enjoyed Cavill's original Bond audition. Quote, he did very well in the audition, but ironically, he was too young. Well, on the Rich Eisen show, Cavill, when asked about whether or not he could potentially land the Bond role this time around, quote, I have no idea. All I have to go off of is the rumors. I have the same information you have. Maybe I'm too old now, or maybe I'm not. We'll see what the producer's plans are. Is that Henry Cavill throwing his hat once again into the ring to play James Bond? Because that is the one thing that so many different Bond fans have dreamt of, Henry Cavill in that role. And that is the one thing I hope we do not see the Broccoli's do in casting Henry Cavill in that role.
I'd rather see him than Aaron Taylor Johnson.
I'd rather see Aaron Taylor Johnson, which supposedly, according to the Sun magazine or whatever, the tabloid, he landed that role a month ago. Well, we haven't heard anything else from the Sun tabloid reporting on this. The Bond role is still up in the air right now. There's still a lot of people positioning themselves to be James Bond, the next one after Daniel Craig. Tyler, would you like to see Henry Cavill as James Bond? Would that be something that excites you?
I guess more than Aaron Taylor Johnson, but I'm not real high on either one of them as Bond.
Yeah.
After having seen Argyle, I don't know why anyone would want to see Henry. Well, that's the problem. Nobody saw Argyle. That's the issue.
And to be fair, he was only in the movie for like 3 minutes, so it's hard to blame him.
The James Bond character. I don't know. I do not want to see Henry Cavill as James Bond for sure. I assume that you're going to see Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare, e.g. more for the theme than you are Henry Cavill himself.
For sure.
Not sure how many Henry Cavill movies can be labeled as actually a giant success. So that's the latest news on the former Superman. John, we are feeling like two Supermen using Way to Wellness.
We are. Go to aplanforme.com and you can learn more about our friends at Way to Wellness. You see us weighing in right here. Tim weighing in, and then me. We're down combined over 65 pounds since we started. I started a couple of months ago. You've been going for about a month now, and you can learn more about what they did for me, what they're doing for Tim, what they're doing for Jim Dunaway, what they're doing for my dad, and what they're doing for a lot of people out there, helping them get their weight under control. So go to planforme.com, learn more about Leslie and her whole board-certified team, and you too can drop the pounds with Way to Wellness.
You guys are great in the chat. We're going to highlight Chase, what he had to say. I think Henry Cavill would be good in that role. He was good in The Man from U.N.C.L.E., and I feel that that's a similar genre of movie. There's no doubt he's typecast for the genre, but playing the premier role of James Bond, I just don't think. He's 40 years old. There's about 2 years in between each Bond movie, maybe 3. How many Bond movies could he crank out before he ages out of the role of James Bond?
Unless you're Daniel Craig, there was like 4 or 5 years between some movies.
True. There were some issues in there that halted production, but I don't know. I think Henry Cavill, we saw him in Mission Impossible. He did fine. We saw him in Argyle in that sort of role. I'm Henry Cavilled out when it comes to the spy thrillers and franchises for sure. Okay, this is a very important moment that's going to unite all of us.
Is it?
On the Meltdown. It is. We are a fractured bunch right now, but we are going to rebuild together. EG, you have a very important task. If we can, let's get the camera on EG.
Okay.
I need you to grab the Dune popcorn bucket for us because it is time to get our next retro trailer reaction. I need you to shuffle that thing up. You can hand it to me first if you want to. I'll shuffle it up for you.
I don't want to put my hand in there.
That's part of the job.
You have to.
Is it like chopsticks or something?
I don't know how you'd get it out of that with chopsticks.
Here you go. Reach in there. Oh, you don't? No.
No.
You got to reach in. Okay, I see what you're doing.
Okay.
Read it out loud, please. What does it say?
John Carpenter's The Thing.
Yes, let's go.
Is that your pick?
Finally got a pick. By finally, I mean this is the third one. John will be last.
I'm still over.
Tyler.
Do I have to?
I think you do.
Oh, there's going to be a couple movies this season you'll say, do I have to, John?
Can I do it, Tim?
It's visually, it's a rough film, John. But I think there's a version of this movie that you can watch and still have some opinions on. And you don't have to like it in our retro trailer reaction.
No, it's not about liking. Just
right.
Can I handle it?
I think I don't. I'm sure Laurel will help guide you through, like, hey, watch this part, don't watch this part. But the visual effects in it are still incredible. The practical effects in the thing, still incredible. I don't want to waste our retro trailer reaction, but Tyler, fantastic choice. Good job. I'm very proud of you, young man.
Oh, thank you. I know we're both big John Carpenter fans.
We are, and this is a solid choice.
Do I need to display this somewhere?
EG's like, as long as I don't have to touch that damn popcorn bucket again, I'm
Just
good.
leave it on the table with the other one.
EG, I'm sorry. I should have gotten with your agents beforehand to see if you were willing to work with the popcorn bucket. But, man, you treated that thing very coldly, but it's okay. Now at least you have a method that works.
Yeah, I do.
It just delivered it for you.
I'm not going to be viewing that film.
No.
No.
You don't have to view that.
Yeah.
No.
I've heard about that one.
I don't want to be, but
Yeah, no, it's going to be good. Every single week, what we do is we take a movie out of the popcorn bucket that's been suggested by one of the four of us, and me, John, Tyler, or Rockstar, and we watch that movie as a homework assignment. We come in and we play the trailer for you, and we react to it. We've got a couple up already, including 1997's The Game and 1990's Kindergarten Cop. Probably much more the speed of where EG is. The thing is going to be a little bit more intense. But we are going to make sure that that is done next week, and we appreciate the submission there from Tyler. It's now time for Luntz's List. There's a lot of ways to spend money at Disney World. John is actually headed towards the House of the Mouse later today. One of my favorite things to do at the Orlando area attraction is to eat some good food. But which places make the cut as being the most enjoyable eateries? Let's get ready to discuss John's personal picks on another brand new edition of Luntz's List.
What is this? What is this? Nonsense list, nonsense list, oh. What is this? What is this? Nonsense list, nonsense list, oh. Nonsense list to buy. Nonsense list to buy. Nonsense list to buy. Nonsense list to buy.
John, name for us the 5 best places you've ever eaten at Walt Disney World. This would be the one located in the Sunshine State of Florida.
So you have to take into account a few things when it comes to the best overall places. You have to go with the price. You have to go with how much you have to go out of your way to enjoy it. All this goes into how much you enjoy the food. If you paid a ton of money and it's just okay, it's not very good. If you pay pennies and it's just okay, it's pretty good for the pretty good deal. A lot of these places are very much out of the way, depending on how your park hopping goes. So with all of that, I think I have a decent list, at least for me.
Okay, let's start off with number 5.
Also, you have to include Disney Springs in this, obviously.
Totally.
There's a lot of chains within Disney Springs. I tried to stay away from that, but there's obviously a lot of good places to eat there that are also chains.
Totally agree.
When did Disney Springs get rebranded from Downtown Disney to Disney Springs?
That's a good question.
About 5 years ago, wasn't it?
I want to say it's longer than that. Honestly, I don't know.
10 years ago?
I remember last time I went to Disney Quest or Downtown Disney, which is Disney Quest. That's the whole reason I went. The arcade was
It was a long time ago.
early 2000s. So I
Interesting.
don't know.
I'm going to say 2015 would be my guess. Are you doing any research on this, Tyler?
I'm not. I can be, though.
Please figure out when it went from Downtown Disney to Disney Springs. Maybe somebody in the chat can help us with that. I think it was like nearly a decade ago, if I had to guess.
California Grill.
Charles talks about how it used to be Pleasure Island. Yeah, that was one part of it for sure. Play off of Pinocchio.
Disney Quest is the greatest place on earth. I don't know if you ever went to Disney Quest or not.
Is or was?
Was. It was the arcade there. It was incredible. It was one of those like.
Didn't they turn it into NBA City or whatever?
I think so.
Then they got rid of that.
I think that's actually a separate chain.
There's an NBA one of those things at Universal.
Yeah.
There was definitely one at
do it at
Disney.
Disney, too?
They definitely did one at Disney.
I don't know. But California Grill. So let me say this. We went in June of...
Disney Springs started in 2015.
There you go. So it's been 9 years. We
Sounds
went
right.
in June of 2022, which we had just caught the tail end of the 50th anniversary for the Contemporary, which opened in 1971. And they had a special 50th anniversary prefix menu that we did not go because of that. We just thought, oh, there's a reservation open. Let's go there. And it was incredible. It was special food, and it was really, really good. The best part of California Grill is you go around 9:30, and you get to see the fireworks from Magic Kingdom from up high.
Yeah.
It's by far the best view of any fireworks show they have there.
Yeah, I'm seeing some pictures right now.
Yeah.
This looks really good.
It's a good place to go. So that was incredible. So that's why it's number 5. It probably could have been number 3, except for we went back to California Grill for our anniversary. I guess it was later that year, December of 2022. And it was just normal California Grill at that point because they were still celebrating the 100th anniversary of just Disney in general. The 50th was just for that hotel. And so it's like, oh, maybe we'll have another special menu. They did not. We went and watched the fireworks, but it was freezing because it was December. And so we were out on top of a 10-story hotel where it was a lot colder at the top. And the food was awful at the California Grill there. So it was great the first time. That's why it made number 5. But it was really bad the second time we went.
Wait, and the second time was for the 50th anniversary?
No, first time was for the 50th anniversary. The second time was just normal eating at the California Grill, and it was awful. It was not good at all. But the food they have for the 50th anniversary is really good. So that lets me know whoever's in the back cooking can make good food. And obviously the experience of it being high up, looking at, as EG's looking at a picture of Magic Kingdom from there, you see everything about Magic Kingdom, especially now with the Tron coaster making it more light up from kind of up above. It's really, really good. But it was not good the second time I went. So it dropped down to number 5, but that meal we had was very, very good. So I'm going to include it on the list.
Okay. California Grill at number 5. Let's move on to number 4. I feel like the view is a big part of the reason why California Grill has made the list. Let's see if the culinary options pushes number 4 ahead of the pack. For that reason, as you guys will have to fill me in because I have no view.
House, I love steak. Steakhouse 71.
Steakhouse 71. Now, I think I am correct, and this is a Disney Springs location. No, I am incorrect.
This is also the Contemporary.
Contemporary, okay.
However, it used to be a place called The Wave, which was very good.
I've eaten at The Wave.
It's on the ground floor of the Contemporary. They changed it to Steakhouse 71 a year or so ago because 1971 is when the Contemporary opened. So that's why it's called Steakhouse 71. But this is kind of a twofer because I really enjoyed both restaurants.
I love The Wave.
So can't really do The Wave anymore because it's not there, but Steakhouse 71 also is pretty good. I've only eaten lunch at Steakhouse 71, but I call this my Jerry Young Memorial option because the bread at Steakhouse 71 was absolutely incredible. I literally could have eaten just bread that entire meal. I could have eaten every meal that I'm there at Disney World.
Served with some butter.
Describe it.
So it's really fluffy. So you get like it's almost like a
loaf, if you will.
It looks like a big muffin.
Oh.
But it's probably that big. And it's hard on the top, but really soft inside.
Biscuit crumbly?
No, it's now I gotta look up the menu just to see, but it's like really soft inside.
The size of the bread and give a tribute as well to Caitlin Clark. What would it look like in your hands right there? Like that right there? That's perfect.
It's brioche bread.
Oh.
Sea salt dusted potato brioche bread.
Yum.
Comes with butter and a roasted garlic tomato spread.
Oh, yes.
It is
turned into ASMR or whatever. With
it's
them
incredible.
reacting.
You get 2 big, and maybe we just got 2 because there was just 2 of us there with me and Laurel, but it was really, really big. You break it open, you eat it. I could have eaten the whole thing. Well, then I was there for lunch, so they didn't have steak and seafood and crazy dinner options necessarily. They had a grilled cheese that then was made with that bread. It was incredible.
Now.
I mean,
sign me up.
This steak looks incredible. This is fabulous.
It's a good place. They had incredible pork belly as well there. I don't know if you like pork belly or not, but pork belly is really, really good. It's really, really good. It is one of my favorite places over there. But the Wave was also really good too. So all those combined kind of made it at number 4.
Did they keep a lot of the same decor of the Wave with
No.
Steakhouse 71? They changed. I love the look of the Wave.
Bread.
The walk-in, there you go.
Wow. It's like pull apart almost?
Yeah, almost. So that way if you have more than 2 people, you can pull it apart and share it. But I got a whole thing for me and a whole one for Laurel. But you said the entrance of the Wave was really cool. It had these big light things that went over and all. It's kind of more just nicer steakhouse look now, but no, all combined is very, very good.
I always thought the Wave was underrated, and I always thought it was pretty empty when I went in there, at least when I went in there. Let's go to number 3 on Luntz's list. These are the 5 best places to eat at DW, Disney World. They're in Florida. That is where John is headed to, and we'll do the show remotely from Disney tomorrow if he can make it through the night. Number 3?
Gideon's. Where is that at?
I've never heard
That
of that
is
one.
definitely Disney Springs. I'm right about this one.
It is Disney Springs. It's actually, there's 2 locations. There's one in Disney Springs and there's one in just downtown Orlando. I'm gonna consider it all Disney because it's all in Orlando. This is, in my opinion, the single greatest cookie ever created in the history of mankind, and you cannot convince me otherwise.
It's like a line for these cookies every single time you get there.
Every single time. So my wife gets up and goes and waits in line while I'm still asleep in the morning because she's an early riser and I'm not. The cookies are phenomenal. They're kind of sort of soft inside, but they basically make a really big cookie and then they cover the cookie. So like, let's say a chocolate chip cookie, they'll cover it in chocolate chips around the outside. The chocolate chip cookie is the best by far. We usually get a big box of them so we can have them there and then bring them home and continue to eat on them.
Yum.
It is by far the greatest cookie ever. If you've never had Gideon's, it's worth the trip to Orlando just to get the cookies.
It feels kind of like a place where you could have your palms read as well in there.
It is. It's very Tim Burton meets Harry Potter.
It's interesting.
Kind of.
They have cake. You guys know I like cake.
They do have good cake too. They do a decent coffee business as well. But the cookies for me, that's kind of their bread and butter, and it is incredible.
No, Steakhouse 71 was the bread and butter.
When I said that, I was like, I shouldn't have said that. But
That's
no,
how I felt yesterday during the trivia segment.
Yeah, it's
Wait,
really, really good.
They have 241,000 followers on Instagram.
Oh, it's a viral magnet.
It's a thing, yeah.
This is so interesting.
Yeah, it's worth the trip, and it is very kind of. It's like Harry Potter if Tim Burton had done a Harry Potter movie inside the store.
Number 2 on Lunch's list. This has been a stellar list thus far, and I can't wait to see what those top 2 spots, best eateries at Disney World, what we will get into here with the final 2 choices. Once you guys see something, let me know. I'm blind.
Morimoto.
I know nothing about this.
Me neither.
Morimoto is a great chef from Japan, if you couldn't tell by the name. He is an Iron Chef. He's been on a bunch of cooking shows that we've watched. It is at Disney Springs. It's kind of at the back of Disney Springs. It's a 2-story building. They have, I guess this isn't appetizing, but there's a ton of duck like hung in the window that you can see like as they're like preparing the food. It is really, really good. Some of the best shrimp I've ever had there. Great ramen, great sushi, great Wagyu beef, and probably the only place at Disney, because I'm not much of a drinker, the only place I will drink because they have incredible
Sake.
Yeah, that, yuzu, all these mixed drinks you can get and everything that is really, really, really good. So it's probably the one place we tried to eat every single time that we're there.
So will y'all be going this trip?
We will not be going this trip because we have other plans.
Oh, I apologize.
Should we save those plans for a future episode, or do you want to get into?
Well, no. I mean, we did a story on trash on the next round.
I read this one
like a month ago. That was all about Victoria and Albert's, which is a super fancy place at the Grand Floridian. And little did I know when I made the reservation, I just saw Victoria and Albert's because you have to like do your reservations beforehand before you go. And so I pulled the app up and I saw Victoria and Albert's at 6:30. Great, let's do that. It's Saturday afternoon after my wife has just run a long race, so it's like, we'll celebrate, go there. Well, there's Victoria and Albert's, and then there's Queen Victoria's room at Victoria and Albert's.
Oh, no.
That's what we actually got. And it
sounds fancier.
Nice.
Yeah, it sounds like you got an even higher class.
I did. It also costs that much more as well.
Ooh.
It is a customized menu. Like they called me the other day after the show. I was sitting here. They called me, and it's like, I need to know exactly how to spell y'all's name so we can create a personalized menu for you. And like, you need to tell me all of your, tell me everything about you and your wife and all
John,
that.
let me tell you, if this ain't the number 1 on Dan Luntz's list after you eat here, then you got ripped off. It better be number 1 because we're talking potentially how many courses? 4 courses?
Oh, it's like 10.
10 courses?
10. Well, hang on.
Awesome.
No, I mean it's not.
How do you have a 10-course meal? What are the courses?
It's little bites.
Yeah, it's a lot of plate. That's what
They'll
my
do
dad would
tapas.
say. It's a lot of plate. Like when you get a big plate and there's one little boop in the middle.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
I hope your review is better than that. But this is, I mean, I just want to put in the ballpark, right, of what this experience is going to be, and I want to just ballpark it. We're talking 4 figures potentially here, right?
Oh, no, it is 4 figures.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
4 figures to go to a
Now,
dinner.
I did not do that on purpose because the actual Victoria and Albert's is like $150 a person. It's a pre-made menu. It's like, okay, it's Disney, it's expensive, whatever. Then I got put in this room. They call me, and the thing is, they have a cancellation policy. Within 5 days, you can cancel, or 5 days out, you can cancel for no price. But if it's in that 5 days, you still have to pay for it.
Ooh.
And they call me, and I was like, I literally did this reservation 4 days beforehand. So I'm stuck now. I guess I better at least get the food out of it.
Enjoy it.
We very rarely beg on this show, but if you can give us some thumbs up to help pay the tab
Please.
for John's meal at this restaurant, we would appreciate that. A couple thumbs up, they go a long way here on the YouTube show.
How long has that been at the Grand Floridian?
I honestly didn't even know what it was. As much as we go to Disney, I didn't know what it was
It's
until
like a
y'all did.
five-diamond experience.
So I've been to Disney twice, and the first time I was like 6 or 7, and we stayed at the Grand Floridian, and we went to dinner. I guess that would have been, I don't know. There was a really nice restaurant down there, but I don't think it was
It almost seems like
Victoria and
hidden.
Albert.
And this is like a room in the back. They only seat 8 people a night. And so we're 2 of the 8 that they're sitting back there, and there's like 4 tables in this special room with like a fireplace and big painting and everything. It's like
Laurel's gonna document this thoroughly. I'm hoping.
yeah.
I'm sure she's not allowed to. I'm sure she's not allowed to like take
exclusive?
photos and videos. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe
no,
photos.
I mean I've seen people like do like vlogs and stuff
you
from
can
in
do that?
there. So
Okay.
This could be the ticket, guys.
I'm gonna at least take some pictures and I'll put it up on our social media
Please
account.
do.
I'm intrigued.
That guy said sounds pinky out for sure.
You're
Yes.
literally going to star in the movie The Menu. That is what you're doing.
That's exactly what I told Laura. I was like, because I started reading through some of the sample courses that other people, because it's a different menu every night.
That's so cool.
And so I started reading through some of the sample things they'd done, which I'm probably not going to like a lot of because I'm a very picky eater.
Oh gosh.
I started going through all of it, and I read all this. I'm like, this sounds like we're in the menus. All these weird things that they're doing.
You're eating at this 10-course restaurant that's going to cost a fortune. I just need a new tail light. That's all I need, and because I hit a garbage can. That's where we are in life right now, and I'm willing to work to meet your standards at some point.
But I told Laurel, just like the menu, what happens into the menu after all that fancy food? She goes and gets her a nice big cheeseburger instead. So I'm looking forward to the trip to Culver's afterwards.
You better not still be hungry after this meal.
Oh, I
or
feel like
else
that's
a failure.
inevitable.
They better have good bread too.
Yeah.
Can we get to
Anyway,
number 1 on Luntz's
We're also
list?
eating at Space 220, which we have not been able to get into yet.
Yeah.
So that's another one.
That's at
I've
Epcot,
heard,
right?
Yeah, I've heard the food's not actually that good, but it's more the experience of it. The whole thing is like you're supposed to be in space when you're eating it. We just have not actually ever found a reservation every time we've been there because we kind of wait till the last second, honestly. But we're doing both of those instead of eating at places like Morimoto's or anything else that's on here.
So I'm guessing you will not be visiting the world's largest McDonald's in downtown Orlando this time around.
I have multiple times, but no, not this time.
John is an equal opportunity eater. He's not just having to eat at the fanciest of places. He just happens to eat at the fanciest of places while also eating at every other place. So there we go. Number 1 on Luntz's list.
This
Le
Cellier.
Cellier.
All right.
This is in the Canadian Pavilion at Epcot.
Easy choice. Le Cellier is by far the best meal at all of Disney World. It is representing Canada at Epcot. Steak is great. The beer cheese soup as a starter is great. The Riesling wine flight is great. And, of course, poutine, however you want to say it, is great as well.
I think it's poutine.
It's poutine.
I've
But
heard
it's
people
hard to
say,
say
And
with a
it's
straight
delicious,
face.
I've
too.
heard people say poutine before.
I've heard it pronounced like with an accent, like poutine almost. But
said
I don't.
poutine.
I don't know.
It's
I don't,
spelled
I
poutine,
don't,
so-
I'm
I
not
don't
cultured
speak
enough
French.
to have this conversation.
But anyway, Le Cellier, not near as expensive, but very, very good. Really good. Have you ever eaten there?
I have.
It's very, very good. My honorable mention was the Boathouse. I don't know if you're eating there at Disney Springs.
I have not.
I had a really good meal the one time I've eaten there. It's kind of on the edge, right by the water, the Boathouse, and you can like rent little boats and go around like the little lake area by Disney Springs. But it was in the middle of summer and it was 1,000 degrees outside, and I'm sitting here trying to eat this hot food while I'm
that's the
baking in the sun.
worst.
I could tell it tasted good, but like you just dropped something. Like 3 bites in, I was like, I'm so hot, I cannot eat this anymore, and so I kind of had to stop. So I want to go back, but I want to go back like in December when it's colder and I don't have to work because like half their seating is outside. But it's really good. It's my one honorable mention.
John, after a couple of lists that have been controversial, a very solid list here. Congratulations on getting back on track right before you leave to go to Orlando. Good stuff there. We
Thank
appreciate you.
The one place I need to eat still is Japan. I'm not eating Japan in Epcot. I feel like their fancier restaurant.
It's one place I have eaten. It's
I-
good.
yeah, one
Everybody
place I have
says is
eaten.
like one of the places. But when I went Asian, I typically go to Morimoto instead.
E.g., you love hibachi.
I love hibachi.
I do as well.
Oh,
A
so
sucker
good.
for hibachi. Give me all that yum yum sauce.
Yes.
Come on now. Pour it on there.
yes.
Just bought a bottle last night for the house.
Oh, for the house.
Tyler, look at us.
I just love
think
hibachi.
me and you are more united than ever, which is a perfect time to bring up Meltdown Triple Threat Trivia. We have
Oh God.
a presser that's happening here. I am the commissioner of Meltdown Triple Threat Trivia. I am the one that is helping to mold the game and improve the game, and it is on me to make sure that this game is one that is done correctly. And yesterday, I dropped the ball. I had an oversight where in my trivia database, I put the same question twice. A number was chosen by John Lunsford. He decided to pass to Spud. Spud got the question correct. However, it was a question that was asked the previous week. It was called out correctly in the chat by you guys that this was a question that was used last week. There's no worse feeling than knowing that you've just given Spud free points after he's already earned double-digit points. You don't want to give him any freebies. So I apologize that occurred. It will not happen again. I will make sure that my checks and balances system is one that is upheld. John, I want to personally apologize to you, as it really cost you not only in your strategy, but in your chance to make a rousing comeback that would have taken a double-digit performance in just a couple of rounds to achieve, but I took that opportunity away from you, and for that, I am sincerely apologetic.
I was within striking distance. It was a 6-point game at that point. With 3 rounds to go, it was 11-5. Oh, I remember. It was 11-5.
Yeah.
I was at negative 12. So.
I passed it to Spud to get an extra bonus point, should he miss it.
Yeah.
And then when I heard it was a question that had already been asked, that also was very easy, by the way. Obviously they put it out of reach, and so I just said, you know what, I'm done.
Will you accept my apology? I will work to be better on your behalf.
Sure.
Thank you very much. There's someone else I want to speak to here, and that is Tyler. Tyler, you and I had some choice words for one another yesterday because every time I would try to clean up my mess, you would come over and knock over my mop bucket, and it got under my skin a little bit. And we had some words exchanged back and forth, and I don't think anybody wants to see us fight. I don't think that's what they want, even though we had people saying that they were willing to send in super chats in order for us to air our fight live here in the middle of this tiny arena. It would have been much like the Dune Part 2 fight, I think, where I would have had you drugged beforehand and you would have had very little chance. That would have been my goal, at least. I don't know how I would have accomplished that, but I know you love Dune Part 2, and I hope that joke fits your needs. I want to extend an olive branch to you, but first and foremost, I want you to get whatever's on your chest off your chest, because you weren't even a competitor in yesterday's game, but you were more upset than anybody.
All right, so I sit here week after week, ready to answer questions. I'm ready to help out whoever wants to get the trophy. I get not used time and time again, watching you guys leave points on the board for easy questions or questions that I know, but you guys just might not. But what was really frustrating was the repeat questions.
I agree.
You got to be
one. It was just one repeat question. The second one was a false. I was accused falsely.
I'll help you out here, Tim. Chat, you got the second one wrong. That Alaska question has not been used before. Only the first one was a repeat.
I'm sure the Alaska one will show up on next week's episode of Meltdown Triple Threat Trivia.
Yeah, I'll recant my statement then.
I appreciate you, Tyler, being a big man here, not only in stature, but also in your heart. And for that, I want to extend to you an opportunity. I know that you're upset about being on the sidelines. The game was designed for you to be on the sidelines as that helpful aid. This is going to be an opportunity of a lifetime for you, because I am granting you, after all of this drama, as an act of goodwill, because I am a humble king, I'm giving you, Tyler, an opportunity to be a number 1 contender. If you earn it, next Wednesday in the arena, you will be playing Meltdown Triple Threat Trivia against 2 opponents. The winner of that is guaranteed a title shot against Spud the following week. Do you accept this invitation to actually compete as a competitor in Meltdown Triple Threat Trivia?
I am accepting. John, E.G., Spud, and Ush, I have no personal beefs with you, but get out of my way. I'm winning
say
this
my
week.
name? Yeah. You notice he didn't say my
Well,
name?
you're not competing, Tim. Now are you?
And he has a personal beef with you, but it's okay.
Yeah.
Tyler, please don't beat me up. That's all I ask.
I was kind of hoping Tyler would be like, "You're asking? No, I'm not going to do it for you."
See, what's going to happen is when the police show up, they're going to think I'm the bad guy. They're going to think the 7-foot guy is picking on Tyler, the young, lovable boy known as Tyler, that's now a businessman. But really, it's the other way around. He's the one throwing the punches. If you go back and you watch the tape, every time I try to collect my thoughts, he comes over and kicks me right in the gut. Just check it out. The tape is there. It's yesterday's episode. It's very dramatic. Spud is on a tear right now. And I'll be honest, I'm not sure any of you can stop him. He looks indestructible when it comes to trivia. E.g., you've been tasked with being one of those people to beat Spud. You've done it. You're the only person who's done it.
I've done it.
However, You had a career worst performance yesterday.
Yeah.
What would you like to say to your fan base that backs you? And what is your commitment to this game and your level of trivia I know that you hold yourself to?
Well, I want to start with saying that it is really nice to be on this side of the press conference, not asking the question. So this is my first time behind the mic. Or no, excuse me, in front of the mic. So first and foremost, to my loyal fans, I thank you guys for your unwavering support through every step. Yesterday's performance, that was not to my standard. I'm embarrassed. So because of that, I will be taking a brief hiatus from competing. I feel like it's the best.
Gosh.
I know.
This is not a retirement. But
No. I feel like this is the best option for me personally. I cannot confidently compete if I don't have my affairs in order to compete well. And I am open to any and all suggestions to prepare better. Please send me any articles you see on trivia, any bits of knowledge that you collect throughout the day. Send it my way. I would love to do this journey together, hand in hand, and make you guys proud.
You have a lot of fans, EG, that are rooting for you. Do you have an official name for them yet?
I did love the egressors. I think that's kind of fitting with the arena that we're in. So if you guys are good with it, the aggressors.
The aggressors, that is going to be it.
Yeah.
Tyler's been very aggressive lately, and you know what? We're working through that. I think it's some new daily supplements he's on or something, but we'll work through that. EG, though, there is one E-hater that's out there.
Yeah, there is.
Saying a lot right now.
Yeah, his name is Ush.
He's competed on this. He's a champion, a former champion at that, and he's had some harsh words for you on social media.
He has, and I mean, every champion has to have a hater. I don't think you've made it unless you've had the haters, and Ush is mine. And I cannot wait for the day that I get to rip that card and sign it. I'm actually going to use Ush as a board to sign my name on the card when I beat him.
I thought you were going to say you were using Ush as the pin.
And that's out there. And I hold myself to a very high standard as a competitor. But with that being said, I'm competitive and I want to take Ush down.
So you really probably don't appreciate the trash in which he's been talking, but it is motivating you.
It's motivating. And truthfully, right now, I can't say much because I'm having career performances for the worst. So,
well, I want to give you something that's hopefully a little bit of a motivation. EG, can you stand up for me, please?
Oh, gosh.
I would appreciate that. And can you make your way over to this corner right here, back behind the desk? And I want you to put these headphones on, please, because we have a message delivered to you. Tyler, you're going to have to watch this thing on your own, but I think it's very important that, EG, you see this message with its world premiere of a competitor known for his prowess in Meltdown Triple Threat Trivia.
Meltdown Triple Threat Trivia. Let's start with, I don't know, Emily Grace. You know, you're really concerned on what you're going to call your fans. You need to concern yourself with learning the Macarena because you're a one-hit wonder. You came out strong, and ever since then, everyone's still watching, but it's really just a morbid curiosity to see how badly you'll be defeated. You're a good kid. Get out now while you have a shred of dignity. John Lunsford, you got lucky. You defeated me last time. I admit that. Okay? On the 6th try, right? On the 6th day, Lunsford gets a win. You're as good at playing trivia as you are at ranking Schwarzenegger movies. Not good, okay? Put on your tie-dye and sit back and watch. That's my advice to you. Who's left? Ah, yes, the little man boy. Tyler, you're in the deep end now, okay? And it's not going to go good. I was winning trivia contests while you were peeing out the side of your diaper. Okay? This is not going to be good for you. I would stop now while you can. Get out. Go back to your little role. Little man boy. Okay? I do not come to Studio B to lose. Everyone remember that. I'm coming. I'm coming for you.
Okay. Shots fired, for sure, with the appearance of a lifetime from Ush. I'm going to give both EG and Tyler a chance to react here. John, if you'd like to jump in there as well as the man who took the title from him. I want to start with EG, though. EG, he calls you out pretty fiercely.
He does.
Taking it to a whole nother level. And you are putting yourself on the sidelines for the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, I am.
Is this extra motivation?
Yes, absolutely. It's extra motivation. And Ush, I agree with you. I have been performing poorly. We all know that. But I'm in a bit of a slump, if you will. And it's going to make it so much sweeter when I can sign that card on your forehead.
Oh.
And it's going to be awesome.
Tyler, he called you a man boy, I think, in that. I assume you take offense, and now Ush is on your list.
So before I said I had no personal beef with Ush, now we do. I'm taking him down. He's going to make EG look like a genius with that last week's
Look like a
performance.
genius.
You were at -12, EG.
Tyler, small intestine. Agatha Christie. Dare I say
Agatha
more?
Christie was
Agatha
right.
Christie was right.
John chose not to
Okay,
take
okay.
that one.
Hey, guys, let's try to remain civil about this, okay? I'm trying to keep peace and order. John,
I just caught a stray.
you did. And you have a right to defend yourself.
It's a small room. There's a lot of
But
firing going on.
I hate when we argue, okay? Maybe I am turning into the Jim Dunaway of this show. I hate when we argue, and I don't want to see that anymore. I want to see respect only from our competitors. John, this coming up Wednesday, less than a week away, and I want everybody to make an appointment because here's what's going to be happening. In one corner, you're going to have John Lunsford. In the other corner, you're going to have Ush, who's just laid down the gauntlet. And then you're also going to have that lovable boy known as Tyler competing for that number one contendership, which will receive an advantage against Spud in a title match. It's happening next week. And I will have a new wrinkle to the game. I am going to include the use for our competitors of challenge flags. If you feel like an answer is wrong, a question is wrong, anything can be debated, you will get one challenge per contest. And you will be able to throw that challenge flag at any point where you feel like something may be wrong.
So we
Answer's
better
wrong.
just hope you only missed one question.
Yeah, I was about to say.
No, if you are correct about your challenge, you end up getting your challenge back. It's NFL rules. You
But
guys
if
know
I
how it works.
lose that challenge and then you are totally wrong, then we're just screwed.
That's on you. You better be right. If you're coming for the king, you better
my
be
God.
right about your
When
your
I thought the game
information.
couldn't get any worse, here it goes.
I have a lot of things to say now. My initial, stance was going to take the road of dignity and class and grace, and in a lot of ways I will. But Tyler, until you're in the arena, you can't talk.
Okay.
I just
And
like
I'm
to
just
say
going to leave it at that.
Okay.
there's only one person on a win streak against Ush, and it's me. So I would just like to say that.
Who's the real
We're gonna-
enemy here, guys?
We're going to end this press conference here. I am not an enemy. I am
That is correct, John.
No, I am trying to get the game
We're,
right.
we're united in that.
Yeah,
The three of us, Spud, who also pointed yesterday, and Ush, we're all united.
Are you not entertained? This is where we're headed going into next Wednesday's Triple Threat Trivia. I don't think there's odds on it yet, but it's
Can
possible.
we put odds
I
on my
I should put odds on
We
it.
need to get my bookie on top of that,
I
John.
like how
we do that?
Ush just said, shout out to my dog Sonny, who probably beat EG in trivia.
Who what?
He said, his dog walked in the background of the video.
I didn't notice the
Said,
dog.
shout out to my dog Sonny, who would probably beat EG in trivia.
All right, Ush, keep talking. You keep talking.
Okay. I'm going to do this one more time. They probably should put odds on this up at MyBookie.
MyBookie.ag. Use promo code next round. If those odds ever appear, just bet on me and you'll win money. Go to MyBookie.ag. Promo code next round. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere. MyBookie.ag.
If you're excited for the drama leading up to Triple Threat Trivia, we're going to make it right. It's going to be one for the ages, a number one contendership match next Wednesday. Set your calendar right now. Make sure you give us a thumbs up on this episode. We appreciate each and every one of you being here and being in the chat. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Me and Tyler are going to go check out Abigail tonight at the theater, and we will have our full reaction tomorrow for you right here on The Meltdown, 2 o'clock Central, 3 o'clock Eastern.